Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Masonry Strong Podcast. Today, I'm here with Larry Vacala. Larry, how you doing?
Very good. A little
Awesome.
winded from walking up the many flights of stairs.
Awesome. So, tell me about how you got into the industry. I did not know that there were 11 siblings in the Vacala family.
Yes. Well, how I got into the industry, my father was a carpenter,
Mm.
so that kind of got us into construction. And I was working for a general contractor who had a subcontractor, a mason contractor, whose laborers didn't show up.
Mm.
And so he lent me to that mason contractor, and that's when I kind of learned all about the industry.
Okay,
And that's how I got introduced to it.
gotcha. And how did you first start working? Were you on a job site? Were you kind of,
I started working on a job site, yeah.
okay.
I mean, I didn't go through any formal training.
Hmm.
Graduated high school, got right into the construction,
Okay,
started as a laborer and
yeah,
then
awesome.
masonry.
How'd you get involved with the MCAA?
Uh, Good story. It went a while. I was doing residential work. I kind of wanted to grow, and I thought maybe I should get into commercial work.
Hmm.
So I started a commercial contracting company, F&V Masonry, and signed up with the MCA of Chicago. And once you're a member with the MCA of Chicago, you become an automatic MCAA member.
Okay,
So,
awesome. What is it about restoration that kind of lured you in?
well, you know what? That's a crazy question. I think because I shouldn't say it's a crazy question, but I didn't really think about that. I think the reason I got interested in it is because it was a very competitive market for new masonry.
Mm.
And I was a fireman, and for me, restoration was a better fit. I was working in a suburb of Chicago, Evanston, Illinois,
Mm.
and there's a lot of old historic homes there. There was not a lot of new building going on, so I thought, here's my target market right here.
Mhm.
Started doing fireplaces, chimneys, tuck pointing, and so I just kind of fell into the restoration market. And when I got into commercial work, that's when I went after because that's what I knew the best.
Awesome. And what is seeing the change of the masonry industry, in advancements and stuff like that? What has that been like for you?
The advancements, well, I mean, we've tried to keep up. We've always said we were cutting edge.
Mm.
We wanted our guys to sending them to all the conventions, all the seminars, but we wanted to always be cutting edge. So technology, we were always chasing it, following it. We wanted to be the first out
Mhm.
there. So I think we were one of the first in our area to use hydromobile. That we were one of the first in Illinois for sure,
Mhm.
maybe first in the country. We bought our hydromobile from Canada directly. Ran a big project downtown Chicago. I think we're one of the first people that were utilizing a drone on a big restoration project, Lane Tech High School. I mean, we've adapted software for tracking purposes way before anybody else. So we've been seeing things transform and technology really play a big role in masonry, which I never thought was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was your time, because you were a former chairman, actually the last chairman, correct?
Well, yes.
Yes. What was that like for you? What was your time like?
You know what? I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was getting into when I was asked to be on the board.
Hmm.
So I served 2 years as secretary, then as treasurer, then vice chairman, and then chairman. When I became chairman, I did a lot of traveling. Traveled a little bit when I was in the other roles, but I really enjoyed it. Met a lot of people, went to different state associations, was able to meet people in other areas, seen how things worked in their areas and what was working in our industry. So, but it's just amazing to see the passion that people had
Yeah.
out there. So I really enjoyed my time as chairman. It seemed like I was never going to get to that position, but it seems like felt like it went pretty quick.
Oh, really?
So,
Nice.
but I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know at one point you met former President Donald Trump. Did you go to the White House for that?
Yes.
What was that for, and what was that experience like?
Well, I was actually going, well, here, I want to start from the beginning,
Yeah, of
how
course.
I got the invite. So I was scheduled to go and meet with the Department of Labor.
Okay.
We're trying to push our high school youth program in Chicago. And we figured we weren't getting anywhere in Illinois, so let's go talk to the Department of Labor. So we set up an appointment with the Department of Labor. A few weeks before I was supposed to head out to DC, I had breakfast with a buddy of mine. He was telling me that he's going to the White House. And I said, when are you going? He said, I'm going for a tour of the White House. And I said, what's the dates? And he told me it was the same dates I was going to be there.
Oh, wow.
So he said, why don't you come with us on the tour? And I said, he's going to be there Sunday. I was going to be there Monday. So I said, I'll come a day early.
Yeah.
So I went out there and we met with the Secret Service people the night before, had dinner with them, and then went to the White House to do a tour. And as we're doing our tour, the Secret Service guys came over and said, the president's landing, come out to the Rose Garden. So we went out to the Rose Garden. We were standing there watching him. All the media was here.
Wow.
I failed to mention one of the people I was with was Brian Urlacher.
Wow.
He's a friend of he's a friend of mine, but he's also very close with the photographer for the Bears that I was with. So he's the guy that invited me.
That's awesome.
So as soon as President Trump got off the helicopter, he pointed, and I was standing next to Urlacher, and he said, "Come inside." And so he looks at me, and I was like, "He's not telling. He doesn't know me. He knows you." So we went in there. It's the first time that he met President also. So we had small talk right there in the Rose Garden. He said, "Let's go into the Oval Office." So he walked us over, and it was just kind of surreal. He's a regular guy.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. And we spent, I tell everybody 45 minutes because he was 45, but we were there well over a half hour.
Mm-hmm.
Took us into the Oval Office. When we first did our tour, the Secret Service told us to get our phones out, no cameras, couldn't bring anything in the Oval Office. So when we were walking by, he says, "Don't worry about the phones or cameras, bring them with."
Wow.
So we went in there, he let us take pictures, and then he took us into this special room, was handing us hats and sterling silver dishes and, things out of his little closet, which was really cool. So he gave me a stack of hats. We got golf balls. We got all kinds of things. So just talking to him, though, it's hard to believe that he's, president of the United States, and he wanted to talk about sports. He wanted to talk about business and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was amazing. I was in shock the whole time.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
And I know before, like a little bit earlier in the story, you said you were in Chicago working with the youth. Why do you think the youth are so important in this industry?
Well, I always knew there was a need to get the message out to the younger generation and high school students. A good friend of mine who used to play for the Chicago Bears, Otis Wilson, has a summer camp. And I also have a foundation in my mother's name, and we would give out scholarships. So Otis came to me and asked me, how do we do the scholarships? So we started talking, and I asked him, how many people are you giving the scholarship to from your summer camps? And he said, we give it to one. I said, what do you do with the rest of the kids? And he said, there's only one scholarship. I said, why don't you push them towards the masonry industry? Or why don't you get them involved in the trades? He said, that's not a bad idea. How do we do that? So we started talking, and I brought him to the District Council Training Center for the union, and we started focusing on some of the depressed areas in Chicago and inner city school programs, and visiting the schools, invited them out for a look at the District Council Training Center and told them that they should take a look at this trade. They had no idea how a building was built. They didn't really pay attention. When they got out there, they were able to pick up a trowel, spread some mortar, lay brick. They were pretty shocked by it. So
Wow.
the first question that most of them, or that I heard from them, is, when can we start? When can we get a job?
That's awesome.
So it kind of motivated me to go out and start trying to recruit. So I was going to the schools with Otis. We were telling about the program and the opportunities they have and the career path that they could take. They don't have to go to college. These were good kids coming out of his program because they knew about hard work. They weren't afraid to sweat and get dirty, and they knew about teamwork. And that's really what you're building, and that's what you're looking for in a mason or a laborer. So it just seemed like a good fit. So that was kind of my drive, and I was working with him, and that's what ended me up going to the Department of Labor to talk to them about, we need a high school youth program.
That's awesome. Wow. Do you know any other Bears players?
Yeah, I know a lot of them. I know a lot of the 85 Bears.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I've
That's awesome.
golfed with them. One of them is here. He actually played in Utah for Brigham Young. I think it's
Oh,
Brigham
nice.
Young. Yeah, and when they won the state championship,
Hmm.
or not the state championship, that would be the national title. So he would kill me for that. But I golf with a lot of them.
Okay. That's awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. And just kind of going off other relationships, I have a note that you know Kid Rock. Is that true?
Yeah, well, you know what? I met a lot of people
Yeah.
and a lot of professional athletes,
Hmm.
and then guys like Kid Rock and Eddie Vedder, and people like that. And it's because of the work that I did with charities.
That's awesome.
So I got in with the White Sox charities, I got in with the Bears charities, and the Blackhawks, and I always some of the charities to me were very deserving and in need. I knew where the money was going, and so I would participate, and I got to meet a lot of people. The reason I got invited is because I was like a season ticket holder,
Okay.
and so I got the invite, and I started participating, and just got to know the guys, and then started going on road trips with some of them with the team. I've been invited a few times out to the spring training for the White Sox.
That's awesome.
So that was pretty cool. They flew me out there just like they fly the players out there. You check in your bag at the airport, and then you get to the hotel, and your room you got your clothes in the room and everything in a car. So I got to meet a lot of those players, got pretty close with a bunch of them. And then same thing with the Bears. They would fly me to some of their away games and to some of their private little dinners. So I just met a lot of people. The way I met Kid Rock, though, is through Chris Chelios. Now, Chris Chelios played for the Blackhawks. And so when he left the Bears, when he left the Blackhawks, he went to Detroit. So I think he was friends with Kid Rock a lot longer. So I had a suite at the Chicago Soldier Field. So there was a game, Detroit playing the Bears, and so Chris calls me up and said, "Hey, you got any extra seats up there?" And I knew all the people from the Bears anyway, and I said, "We can squeeze in a few more. I mean, there's 20 seats up there." So I think we probably had 18 of them filled. So he was there with John Cusack and Kid Rock, and there was a couple other actors that were there. So I went down and met him down in the lobby, walked him upstairs. The staff all let him up there, and so we had like 25 people up in the room there. And actually, funny thing is, our suite was right next to Brian Urlacher's. So Brian Urlacher's mother was in there. She came over. Everybody wanted to talk to him, but it was just like the rest of these guys. They're just regular people. He wanted to just watch the game. He was there to have fun, and we got to have a good conversation. And it was my son's birthday too, so just want to tell you what kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
He asked me for my address, and he says, "Let's go out. We're going to go out and have dinner at Gibson's." Well, my kids were young, so I said, they got to go to school tomorrow. We can't come out, but I really appreciate it. He says, "Well, give me your address." I go, "You going to come to the house?" He goes, "No, I just want to send you a thank you." And I said, "Oh, that's pretty nice."
Wow.
So I gave my address. About 3 days later, this big package shows up in the mail, and open it up, and it was to my son, Tyler, because it was his birthday.
Yeah.
He sent him a Gibson guitar signed,
Oh my gosh.
"Rock on, Tyler," Kid Rock. So, and then I've been to several of his concerts, and he's invited, me and whoever I was with down into their private party and that. So, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's how I met him, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Going back to the MCAA, what has it been like seeing it grow to how big it is today?
I think it's great. And I think it's great to see all these young people getting involved. I think the Generation Next program is fantastic. Every single one of these mid-year meetings, it seems like the attendance has been growing and getting better. The participation is better. I think it's fantastic. It's going to do nothing but help our industry and help our industry grow. And I always tell everybody the MCA is going to save our industry, but I'm seeing what we're doing with the MCA is going to really benefit and grow this industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially with the growth of speed dating and new companies coming in and and showing their support as well as just showing what they can do and other contractors picking that up. What has it been like? What has the change in restoration been like? Because I'm not as familiar with restoration as like the main masonry industry. What is that? What has that change been like from when you first started to now?
Um, as far you're talking about what
Like
has changed,
restoration, yeah.
you mean how it's, I don't understand the question.
Oh, just like has it changed a lot? As in like, is there new technology? Is there new
Oh,
advancements and stuff like that?
absolutely. I mean, there's, like they got this 3D printing.
Oh
They
wow.
have, they've got cameras now where you can X-ray a wall. You can see the cavity inside. You can see where the steel is. You can see
Whoa.
grout. You can tell where there's stress fracture cracks and things. I mean, yeah, it's there's a lot of tools that will help,
Hmm.
and then you've got companies always trying to come up with products to to help cleaning, staining. It's just so many things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, are we at the 2 minute? Are we good? We're good. Okay, cool. I'll just ask it. So as we're wrapping up, Larry, I'm going to ask you, what does Masonry Strong mean to you?
Masonry strong. Well, I wish you would ask that. I wish I would have known about that. Masonry strong to me means number one, it's our product. Our
Mm.
product is strong. Masonry strong is, I think, a movement that we're trying to uh, get the message out there, let people know that this is the most durable, strongest, not property, but product you can build with. So,
Mhm.
that's Masonry Strong to me is just our team, our association, our members getting stronger and marketing it.
Awesome. Larry, I appreciate you coming on today. I had a great time talking with you, and we will see you all next time.
All right. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.